So we've got audio, and I hope we've got video, so let us begin. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone accompanying us. On this rather precious and radiant, which would seem to be as if it were of summer, Shabbat from California, the US of A. Today is the Shabbat, the 7th of Etanim. We've entered into the 7th month with a tremendous number 7 in the year 5992. It is covered because we've got this flag, which says Jacob. This corresponds to October 21st of the year 2023, and we shall begin with yet another chapter of Revelation 17, the 7 kings. And what is the next part? And the end of Babylon, part 53, for the mind that hath wisdom, part 10. And yes, we are in this subject. It is impossible that those that love this prophecy would stop to study it on a permanent basis. And today we shall study it, yet another chapter that has everything to do with this prophecy. But we shall study yet another chapter of scriptures. Today's a rather special day. It is Shabbat of the 7th month. We've entered into the 7th month, and today we shall speak a little bit more about that. But first, let us begin this with a word of prayer. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks for this precious Shabbat. We give you thanks because we've arrived to the 7th month. We give you thanks because you've always given us the reason, joy, and hope. And I ask you that actually all this get to its conclusion, prophetic conclusion, in the end very soon. In your rather precious name, Yahweh Sabaoth, Alleluia. Yahweh Elohim has blessed with one more year of life the following members of the Eternal Truth: Marta Patricia Gomez Libreros, Colombia; Jose, Spain, the US of A. Jose España is his last name, not from Spain, from the US of A. Lady Buitrago, Colombia; Hermelinda López de Lázaro, Mexico; Mercedes Reyes Lira, Mexico; Wilmer Usuga, Colombia; Salvador Enoch Zambrano, Argentina; Rogerio David, Brazil; Sara Cañedo Sánchez, Mexico; Elizabeth Sánchez Hernández, Mexico; Jacobo Melquiades, Mexico; María Olivia Arcia Juárez, Nicaragua; Dana Luciana Hernández, Mexico; Fernando Vidiel, Uruguay; and Jonathan Martinez, who is not present here today. To each and every one of you, a very happy birthday. We give you thanks to Yahweh, who has blessed you with one more year of life, and that you're at this moment that is so astonishing in humanity, that you're living moments that are prophetic, especially in the land of Israel, where everything is happening there that I cannot even mention, but it is red hot. And we are also watching other places in which the stones prophesy, so then we are all absolutely very, very happy. Especially, I'm very happy. I'll tell you the motive. But I'd like to congratulate and say hello to Sara Valentina Pedrosa Medina from Colombia, which last week, or last Shabbat, October the 14th, got baptized in the name of Yeshua. So then, welcome to the Eternal Truth, Sara. Actually, we give you many congratulations, a great big hug in behalf of all the Eternal Truth. Welcome, Sara Valentina, to LVE, and congratulations for having been baptized in the name of Yeshua. Very well. This Sunday at sunset, we enjoyed without seeing the moon, but we saw it through your eyes, through your cameras, your declarations. Many saw the moon and were witnesses that the moon was visibly seen. We could have been seen it if we had gone to a park here nearby, but since we had the duty of making the shofar sound, there was no need to see it because we had already seen it through the publications of yours. So then it was already confirmed the presence in the sky of the prophetic clock of Elohim, which is the moon that marks the times, which marks the moads, and that it is something absolutely notable that can be seen. And we did a live stream to give the welcome and to say hello to every one of you and to give the beginning to the 7th month, the month of Etanim, to the 5th feast of Yahweh, which is Yom Teruah, or trumpets. And Brian made the shofar sound, as I had already announced to you, with a different sound 7 times, and then afterwards an 8th sound of victory. Rather, it was spectacular. Thanks for everyone who was live there. It really called our attention, along with Leslie, that very few greeted in the time that they had to greet, or a soon time after watching the video, because it's a very solemn time. It's a time in which officially we give the welcome to the 7th month. Officially, we give the beginning to the 5th feast of Yahweh, trumpets, or Yom Teruah, and we make the shofar sound. That is something that's rather very precious for us, and we thought that it should be precious also for all the eternal truth, not for just a handful of the eternal truth, but for all the eternal truth. So then it really called our attention that the empathy of not uninterest, of disunion, I don't know how I want to call it, on behalf of men, at least, is not that I expected, but actually everyone will do their deeds, and their deeds are going to determine their results. They're going to have their results. It really called our attention that not all the eternal truth was present. It's kind of like, oh yeah, well, I'll watch it later. Or maybe, well, yeah, I'll say hello on my behalf. I'll make my publication and say hello, and with that, it'll be enough. But that's why Leslie, out of nowhere, made this comment, and I love the comment. Showed it to me, and I loved it, and I pinned it. Pinned means that it is pinned on the video, at the beginning of the video. Maybe even they wrote to us, some didn't really like the comment. I'll read it. From Leslie Silva. It reads as follows: many thanks for the greetings of Yom Teruah friends. I hope that you are greatly blessed, but only for you. Those that wrote the replica of the greetings that we made, I can assure you that most in this group cannot have the test of courtesy or education, refined education. So then, who would want to have friends or associates like this? Of course, some thought that it was a harsh comment. I thought that it was kind of soft. I thought that it was soft. I thought that it was right on point. Because if we don't learn good courtesy here, or the responsibilities that we have, each and every one of us, then how can we get to be what we should be? How are we going to get to be a group that actually that works in conjunction? That works in conjunction. I understand that human beings, we fight and we strive for some position. Some others fight for the pride. Others fight because they want to be seen. Others expect, like many have written to us, both me and Leslie, and maybe that's many, saying, for example, I don't know why you don't put hearts to our publications, our posts. I've noticed that you don't comment my posts. And well, obviously, we know the fallacies of human beings. We know you've had parents that haven't taught you shit. This should be learned at home. It should be learned at home, as also to say thanks, please, pardon me. It should be learned at home. Here, they teach a little bit in the school. Always, excuse me, pardon me, thanks, please, please. In English, it's very typical for them to teach always to say please, thank you, excuse me. It's words that should accompany our language on a daily basis. What ethics are and how we should handle ourselves as a group, one has an information in the mind, and the information has a lot to do with what also our parents placed there, because if our parents were brutes, how are the children going to be? The apple does not fall far from the tree unless the son or daughter starts to get refined, and so they start to change that charge, historical, genetic, familiar charge that they inculcated on us. Someday all will say without any exception, only lies with the inheritance of our fathers. And the inheritance of our fathers sometimes is the one that sometimes highlights how we act in life. Sometimes, or almost always, how we act in life. So then, we who take to the front this group, when we gave a date for a general date, you're not excused. Any one of you have said, I'm not going to show up today because I have to go eat, I have to go out with my friends, I have to watch a Netflix series, or because I want to do something else. Tell the truth, I've seen the moon. I already put my individual greeting. I've already fulfilled, and I'll later on say if they greeted or not. Then I'll notice that later, always later. It's not really important in my programming. What's important is that I greet everyone, and then I'll leave that. And it could also be, yeah, I did hear you and all, but I didn't want to greet you. I didn't want to say thanks for the greeting, some comments. You know, the only thing you need, well, many thanks for giving the welcoming to the 7th month. We are blessed that you take us so magnificently, showing us the calendar of Yahweh. That is too complicated. It's too complicated. Okay, delete that.
All I'm saying, if you say Yom Teruah,
Exactly.
they just reply, Happy Yom Teruah.
Just Happy Yom Teruah. Happy Yom Teruah.
If you stretch out your hand,
exactly.
What should they do? Just stretch out their hand and shake your hand.
Exactly.
It's very simple, and you weren't even expected to be right in the moment, even afterwards.
It should be right in the moment. I would expect for it to be in the moment, but by default, that something happened, you were busy or whatever, there were things that were more important in your mind to do, then you can put it right after right after you watch the video. You said Happy Yom Teruah. That's it. That's all. It is the greeting to the greet. It is not replaced. I want to understand you, because maybe I don't wish I had to teach this. I want to start with today's subject already, the chapter we want to read today. I really did not want to teach this. People don't teach this. They go to the churches, to the gurus, the YouTubers. The last thing you want is to be taught to know what to do. They want to say, they want to feel less guilty of what they are. They want to feel less dirty or whatever. Okay. I would not want to teach you, but it is my duty. What lack of respect. It is not enough by you doing a publication from a post and say Jom Teruah. I want you to understand that. It does not replace at all the greeting that we have make to you. It doesn't replace it at all. I want you to understand that well. If you do not answer in the invitations, in the posts, our posts, not someone else's of LVE, but the one of LVE, ours, the one that Leslie makes. If you don't answer there, then you did not greet us. I want you to understand that and to remember, and if you don't like that, then you can go fuck off. I told Leslie, I'm going to say it. I want somebody to say, actually, you can all fuck off. Because if you are stupid, idiots, if you have no morals, if you don't know how to say hello, if you have shit in your mind, then I don't want you here with me. That's why I told you, it's kind of soft. Who the fuck wants to have friends like this? I'd tell you 1,000 times. Your individual greeting, no, it's not for others. You want to answer to us, then you say it from where we greeted you, period. Then later you say you greet the friends of Eternal Truth, which are secondary. I'll repeat again, which are extremely secondary. Who teaches you that? I know that it bothers you what I teach you. I know. You think I don't know? You would not want to listen to this, I know. But I could give a fuck what you want to hear. If you do not have a good way of acting, you cannot be gods. What do you want? For me to praise you and to continue doing your stupidity? I'll repeat this again. No greet of yours replaces where we greeted you. Or else it would seem to be like a broken phone. And where you greet, there's no need for us to greet you. If you have the luck to receive a heart from us, and if not, either way, because the one that greets first, the one that comes to give the greet is ours. So then you have to respond. If it was 10,000, what would you expect? That Leslie or I would dedicate all our time to greet to everyone. We're going to miss one. If you don't have that level of priority, it's kind of like Elohim to come and greets you, and you don't answer the greet to Elohim. For example, I don't know if it was, if you can understand it. And we have experienced it, because the human nature is so. They ignore the owner of the house, or they kind of ignore him, but they greet themselves. And then when the master goes to greet, they don't greet him. What is the obligation of every one of you? I'm going to teach you because you don't know. Or either you're Indians or you're dog shit people and you don't know. When you go to a house, no matter who the fuck is in the house, you go and greet the owner. The rest is made of wood. The rest does not exist no matter who they are. You go and greet the owner of the house, and then after greeting the owner, which is a priority, then you go and greet, if there is time for the rest, if you want to, period. If you don't learn that from as a child, who the fuck will teach you? Who the fuck will teach you? You're never gonna learn this. And are you gods? No, you're sons of bitches. That's what you are. You're not gods. You don't receive an admiration if you have the priority clear in your mind. What are the priorities of how we have to act? How we have to act. You should have this understood very clearly, more than clear. I go to a house. I enter. And I look. If I find one and he says hello, well, it's not that I'll not greet him, but I go directly to the owner of the house to greet him. I'll go to the owner. You know how they have asked me many times here, many times. Do I have to go? We have to go and greet them, because or else they just sit there and don't greet at all. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't understand. In my mind, I don't understand. The same thing happens with the invitations. None of your greetings replaces, which are good and we thank them, but none of your greetings replaces to saying hello in the official greeting. The rest are not the official greetings. They're not. I want you to understand that apparently in your mind, you might think that yours is the official one, and then later you expect for them to come and greet, even ask for us to come and greet you. Because that's how your mind is, since they don't tell you. Since you have an information given to you by your mother, your father, wherever you were born, it wasn't taught to you. So then you place yourself in a wrong position, and that nobody gets you out of that position. And then you get offended afterwards. You get offended because the people don't react the way you think that they should react. How many times have they written to me, Christian, why didn't you just give me a heart to my post? Wow, I said, you couldn't be more out of place. You cannot be more out of place. I can't believe it. So then under that point of view, people start to think and they start to elaborate, and what's formed, even hate, because they don't have the priorities correct. This, in a government like will be the world government, there are priorities, and the priorities are very well marked, absolutely marked. If we act like animals, then we won't ever be able to sit in the throne. That's why I tell you, I have to educate you, and I'll make a series of how a king should act. How a king should act. Because not just should a king act, but should teach the others to act that way. Okay, so then, I found it. I congratulate all who were live. It was the only thing that was correct. Look, it was the only thing that was correct. What was the incorrect part? To go and eat out, to watch something else, to be sleeping, to be doing something else, watching something else. That is incorrect. If I had a questionnaire, what is the only answer? If the LVE is live to greet, can you be doing something else? Can you forget? Can you be watching a different channels? Can you be greeting other people and not watching that channel? It's all incorrect. It's all incorrect. The only correct thing is I am from the eternal truth. I'll be there live, and I'll watch him live. And not just that, I'll watch him live. I'll say hello to it. Happy Yom Teruah and the bitch that bore you. I'll answer. You don't answer, then you are a person with no education, I'll say. No education, and I'm here to educate you. If there's anyone still here, if there's still one son of a bitch here that didn't give us a like, you should better give us a like or just fuck off. Just like that. I'll tell it to you like that. I know that there are many haters that watch because they're fun with me. I mean, they have fun. I have fun with myself. That's why I try to not watch my videos. I'll be like, where the fuck is gonna be the son of a bitch? I don't know what to expect. I'm just looking at this guy speaking there. Wow. Absolutely incredible. I don't know. Maybe there's 7, and out of the 7 faithful ones, they put 10 comments each. Right, of course. Since there's no one else, I'll comment again, and I'll comment again. And I'll comment again to fill it up again. Exactly. Of course, and we'll add up 100 right there, and then we have just like 30 comments, 3 times each. So then, I tell you the truth, if you don't start to think, I cannot understand in my mind that you have watched that video and you did not say Happy Yom Teruah. That's all you had to say. Happy Yom Teruah. It's kind of like we meet you in front and we greet you and you look at us and you turn around and you leave or you avoid us. It's exactly the same thing. I could care less if it's a digital means or if it's reality. Because if this had happened in reality, if this, you have to think about it, if this were in real life and I have the possibility of coming to a place and I would call you, we're going to give a beginning in this place and you don't come, it's exactly the same thing. And on top of not coming, when you do come, you're mute and shut up and you don't even greet us. Look, they just look and they leave when they could have greeted us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand or not? So then what excuse will we give you? That is why Leslie's comment is more than appropriate. Who would want to have friends that way, true friends that way, or who wants to have associates that way? Who wants to have a government that way? Sometimes those types of things really let you down, and you're like, "Tilt, we need a lot for this. We need a whole lot for this, a whole lot, absolutely for this." Very well. I hope you have learned something today. And if I offended you, even better, because if I offended you, it's because you were wrong. If I didn't offend you, it's because, give or take, you think about what I just told you in that line of thinking. But if I offended you, it is because really you were acting wrong. And if you act wrong, you cannot be kings. Just like that, you cannot be kings. There was no excuse for you to not be paying attention to when the moon would be seen. And if for any motive or reason you missed it, you had to watch the video and greet us. Happy Yom Teruah. How many greetings should we have there? At least one per every judge. Now, moving on to another part that makes me happy, very happy, is that this week, before Wednesday, which is Yom Kippur, I'll speak a little bit about Yom Kippur, because we've got Yom Kippur on the way. We shall have been sent all the orders of the rings. In other words, they're all going to be traveling. If somebody wants to ask for one now, of course, that won't happen. But all the ones that have already asked them with anticipation up until today, the date of the date, because I consider that those that didn't ask for it is because they don't want it. Period. That's it. It's over. They don't want it. And I went over and above of making you seen how important it was. And maybe, well, I'm not going to say that I made a mistake, but maybe I went over and above what I should have done. The only thing I should have done is, you want this or not? And those who do want it, that's fine. And those who don't, it should not have been my insistence, but yours. Your insistence, not mine. Your insistence. If you want something and you understand what it is, not mine. So then, all the orders that people have asked for, they're all complete. And we have been working like crazy this week. And I've already got all the rings that they have asked me. All those that have asked for rings, that have given me the number, because some gave me, I'm going to look for the number they never again wrote to me. I don't understand that. When you want something, you want something. When you want something, you desire something. If you are lukewarm, then we don't want you here. When you want something, you say, I want this. I don't know how, but I want this. All the ones that wanted it, because I had in my mind to finish this before the feasts, and it was given. That's the way it was given. So then, for Wednesday, all the orders will be traveling already. It's in the hands of Elohim. When will they arrive? But before my hands, Angelina and Brian's, we are done with the orders for this Yom Kippur, and I find that to be spectacular. It's more than 600 rings. They don't get to 700, but they're over 700 rings. So then that for me is rather spectacular news. Just like that. Spectacular. Very well. This Tuesday at sunset, we shall enter into a very special day. That special day is called Day of the Atonement, translated into Spanish or Yom Kippur. Yom is day, Kippur is atonement. Very well. How do we celebrate? How do we celebrate? We celebrate it because the text says that we have to afflict our souls. And to afflict our souls is translated as an abstinence. Every desires of food, sexual desires. So then that day we celebrate it. It's not that we are, see, we're not even fulfilling it or anything. More than anything, it's just a reminder. It is a celebration. So then what do? We have abstinence of food and abstinence of sex. When will that be? This Wednesday. From Tuesday at sunset till Wednesday at sunset. Yom Kippur, 1 day of fasting. Do we drink water? Yes, we drink water. Do we drink coffee? I don't make specific rules. The only rule, if you want to fulfill it, because I could give a fuck if you want to fulfill it or not. How do I personally celebrate it? I don't eat. Can I drink coffee? Yes, I drink coffee. I don't put milk because that becomes solid immediately. It becomes a solid. That's why I don't. I drink coffee. I drink mate, yerba mate, all day, and that's it. It's over. That's my way of celebrating it. That's my way of celebrating it. And water, of course, all that I want, but not solid food. What is the way of children? Let the parents decide however they want. Just like that. If they're babies and they are drinking, they're being breastfed, let them be breastfed. I don't have children, so that'll be up to you. It is a celebration. It's not that if you make a mistake and you eat your cutoff, no. And what? Of course not. Absolutely not. Just like that, directly not. So then, what? It's like just like a celebration, no more. Okay, now we don't work. Of course, we don't work. We don't work as servants. Also, we don't work in anything else. It's a day that we find it to be very special. It's the most boring day, the most stupid day, the most idiotic day of the year. That's it. That's the way I see it. But now I understand it differently. I see it as a very special day. Why? We're in a special day. This time it is, we'll see how long this takes. But apparently that's the way it is. But what is Yom Kippur? What does it mean, Yom Kippur? Well, Yom Kippur, let's go ahead and read it. See in Scripture what it says about Yom Kippur. Let's go to Leviticus 23. I'm going to give an interpretation of my own, of course. Leviticus 23, 26 says, and also Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, and unto the 10 days of this 7th month shall be the day of atonement, Yom Kippur, and ye shall have a holy convocation, and you shall afflict, that's the word, you shall afflict your souls, and shall offer a lit offering unto Yahweh. Why do we not fulfill, or I cannot say we, I can't remember the word, why do we keep that feast? Because we don't keep it. If we were to keep it, we would do sacrifices, those types of things. We don't do that. So then we lightly celebrate it. We remember it. You shall offer a burnt offering unto Yahweh. Thou shalt not do any work on this day, because it's the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, to reconcile before Yahweh your Elohim. For every person that does not afflict their soul on this day shall be cut off from their nation, and any person that does not afflict their souls, I shall destroy that person from their people. You shall not do any work. A perpetual statute shall be for your generation wherever thou mayest live. It will be a day of rest unto you, and you shall afflict your souls, beginning with the 9th day of the month at sunset. From sunset to sunset ye shall keep your rest. Very well. There it is. There you have Yom Kippur. What does Yom Kippur mean? Well, for the Christian world, it means a type of that we are purified of our sins that are accumulated, so then they are handed over to Azazel, and we are left clean. It is the cleansing of the sanctuary. What does it actually mean? Well, this is my interpretation as of now. First of all, it is the sixth feast of Yahweh. By it being the sixth feast of Yahweh, it could represent the seventh millennium in which we are living, the seventh millennium, Yom Kippur, a day of cleansing. It's a day that actually humans, they start to cleanse themselves from all the lies, evidently. It is a day in which it is exactly on that explanation of Yom Kippur for a whole millennium, which means something. Then it represents, in my point of view, this millennium. It also represents the cleansing of the sins. Yes, the sins. It's not that they don't exist anymore. Of course, it is the injustice that we could call it. And the cleansing of the temple, evidently, because that is what Yom Kippur indicates. The temple was going to be cleansed. Leviticus explains all the rites on there, so then the temple would be cleansed. So then we understand that the temple was a figure of what? Of us. The temple is us. So then, during Yom Kippur, it is the cleansing of this temple, this body. Very well. Now, it turns into something a little bit different, like I told you. It's not that sin does not exist anymore. Yes, that is true. But the consequences of sin and the cause of sin, due to the curses that the Creator fabricated or invented, not a consequence of natural, no. The consequences of sin is not natural, it's something made up, which He invented. Okay. So then, it's not that it exists anymore, of course not. It is true. During Pesach, when Yahweh, covered with human flesh, died, He ended with the law completely. But what did not end is the effect of His law and His curses in sin in us. That's why we still die. So then, if you coldly look at what happened when Yahweh died in the year 31 of our Gregorian calendar, in the 31st year, what really happened in our temple? The answer is simple: nothing. Nothing happened. What did happen was that Yahweh, when He died, He removed the guilt which that would give to a death of the soul that was eternal. So then He removed the sentence of eternal death. They're all per se pardoned. But either way, the consequences are not removed. That is why we still get old. Women still have pain when they give birth, and we have to work with the sweat of our brow. And we have to live in a world of pain until we die. He didn't remove anything. Nothing absolutely happened. He didn't do anything for the human body. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He did something mystical. That was a law, an eternal destruction. He removed the eternal destruction. He removed the laws, but the consequences which He created are still there. So then there is a connection between Pesach and Yom Kippur. A connection that's enormous. Those two feasts become per se one. What happens in Yom Kippur? In Yom Kippur, which is celebrated Etanim the 10th, the 7th month, they should take 2 he-goats to the sanctuary. 2 he-goats, perfect ones. 2 he-goats, almost that you could not distinguish one from the other. So identical they were, they had to be identical, without any defect, without any flaw, perfect. To such a point that not even the priest or Kohanim or the Kohen could decide, oh, I like this one more, I'll leave this one for Yahweh. No. Lots had to be cast, and Yahweh would decide which would be for which, because they were equal. So then one will represent this, and another one will represent something else. One will represent for Yahweh, and another one will represent for Azazel. You notice it is a mirror. One is Yahweh, one is Azazel. Azazel representing Satan, wickedness. On one side justice, let's say it that way, and on the other side wickedness. On one day, and the other side night. It's actually the same character. What does Yahweh teach us through this? Right. Why does he have to die again? It's not that the lamb died on Aviv the 14th, which is Pesach. How is it that in the 7th month he again dies? No. We're seeing this wrong. We have to join the meaning. The first time, or the only time that Yahweh came in a human form and died, that is where it ended completely with, he did away with eternal death and the curse that we had upon all of us, but he did not purify our body. So then, during the 7th month, once again, we are before the presence of the death of Yahweh. Inevitably so, because the lamb had to be sacrificed again. And what had to be sacrificed? The sins of Israel upon that lamb. Upon that lamb, they had to sacrifice it and take part of the blood of that lamb within the sanctuary to the most holy place, where they would not enter except for just one time during the year and never again, and only for one person. It was only by one person, the Kohen Gadol, or the high priest, the only one that could go in, and he had to enter with the blood of that lamb, which represents Yahweh, and he had to sprinkle 7 times upon the covering of the ark. Some rites that would seem absolutely witchcraft. Where do you think all witchcraft? Yahweh created witchcraft. Witchcraft to the maximum. If I see a chick and some guy that grabs blood and he starts to go, this is fucking witchcraft. But I see some priest doing something like that and say, what is this crazy guy doing? What the fuck is this guy doing? More than witchcraft than anything. Because they're all symbols. So then the guy was there once a year, the type of witchcraft, imagine. And with the blood of an animal, it's already witchcraft to the maximum. And sprinkling it upon a golden ark. I mean, what is this? It's all symbols. So then, that is where you combine death, the death of Yahweh. But for those who understand, there is a handover of the sin of the wickedness of Israel. It is handed over unto Yahweh back again. Because Azazel is not a Satan. Satan is not equal to God. Satan does not exist. Satan is God. I'll repeat this again, because maybe you have not grasped the idea, the eternal truth. I can imagine they did. Satan is not equal to God. Satan is God. The only one that there is, the only one that exists. So then, in this rite, he's shown you a mirror. That wickedness imposed unto the people, and in this case is all human beings, not just Israel. This is a representation only. The wickedness imposed by the Creator unto Israel, by confessing that wickedness, the Lamb dies, which is Yahweh, but actually he resurrects, because it's kind of like he cannot die because he's divided in two. It's kind of like he can't die, just a part of him died, not the other. So then he receives the charge the burden of the sin. It's not that he died for your sin. No, no. He receives the sin that he generated. It goes back to your head. Only this interpretation that I'm given can be given by someone that understands that Yahweh is Satan. That Yahweh receives all the wickedness that he imposed, but not out of love, that I'm going to die for your sin, I'm going to take it upon my shoulders because I love you so much. No, no, no. It's because he generated that wickedness, and the only justice that there is for him to take it away. Because we're not going to place it upon a third that has nothing to do with that, as Satan, for him to bear it and to see I created him and this son of a bitch will bear it all. No, absolutely not. The only one that is to blame, the only one that generated the wickedness, the only one that placed this wickedness upon us was Yahweh. So then, let's go upon the head of Yahweh and take this whole shit with you. So then I find that to be okay. And that is where we complete what Pesach means during the 7th month in Yom Kippur. That is why it's a day in which we are cleansed. We cannot do anything to cleanse this, and that's the truth, because it is in our nature imposed by him. There's nothing that we can do. If you thought that there's something you can do, you're wrong. You can act better, but the wickedness is inside, way inside. You have wickedness, of course. And the only one that could take away that which he imposed upon us, when I say wickedness, I'm speaking about everything, the biological, program death, all of your, functions incorrectly, all that imposed by him. And that, the only one that can take it out is him. But then we have to understand clearly where it has to go. If we are Christians, we would say, we have to put that in Satan and blame him. It doesn't go anywhere. This circle is closed. It goes back to the origin of all things. And if we don't understand that, then we cannot celebrate Yom Kippur, because it would be an open circle, the Creator, us, and some certain Satan. So then the Creator made us good, we're bad, the Creator died for us, took the sins, placed it upon that poor wretched fool, and told him to fuck off. So then circle is open, and wickedness did not return anywhere, but some third guy took it. Who saved us? Satan saved us, because he took, in the end of it all our sins. It is a critique, because we're saying that our Savior is Satan, which takes our sins. Where were the sins placed upon Azazel, right? Well, then he is your Savior, because he takes your sin. He takes your sin. Now, if you understand how actually the scripture says that there is no Satan, that it is him. He is Satan. God is Satan. Satan is God. Some guys, somebody must be having a stomachache just by listening to what I'm saying. I could give a fuck. God and Satan make the function of purification. So then the wickedness imposed upon us is taken by the same one that imposed it upon us. And he says, yes, I'll take all this guilt. And in the figure, we've got the punishment that Yeshua received, and also the crown of thorn, which I love. Why do I love it? Because it is the same wickedness that he had it in designing the fucking thorns. Of course, he had to feel them upon his head. It's not that he suffered for you. No, he made all of us suffer. Take a little bit of your own medicine. Here are the thorns very well into his head so that he feels them. They're your creation. You didn't come... Oh, it's not that the thorns came up because Adam stole a fruit and Eve. No, it was not automatic. Oh, Adam and Eve, they ate this fruit. So then the fruit and the plants, they said, we're going to generate thorns to fuck up their lives. No, the plants don't think. The plants, they imposed upon them to have thorns to complicate our lives. Nothing was the result of sin, but rather it was the curse out of the mouth of Yahweh. So then where he has to do is to be from the mouth of the one that gave the curse. That is very clear. And if you don't understand it, don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. If you don't understand that, don't you worry about it. If you didn't understand about anything about Shabbat Shalom, don't worry about it. continue on with your life. Because if you didn't understand now, you'll never again understand it. So then what does Yom Kippur mean? It really means, instead of afflicting ourselves, it is a day of victory, where I actually, by not eating, I'm kind of like preparing my temple to say, come here, Yahweh, and take all the wickedness that you placed upon me. Could this happen during the Yom Kippur? Yes, it could perfectly well happen. It could. Not that it will happen now. I mean, I don't know. But it could happen that Yahweh comes and says, okay, I'll take this away, and I'm going to give them the power that I need to finish my work. It could be this Yom Kippur. It could be the next Yom Kippur. It could be. Absolutely, it could be. But it is not a day of saying, Lord, I have sinned against you. I repent. No. Now he has to come and have to say, I'll take these wickedness away from me. That is what Yom Kippur, a day of expiation, of cleansing of the temple. The only one that can cleanse it is him. He is the one that got us stained. The only one that can cleanse it is for him to come and cleanse it. So then he says, since I'm going to operate upon you, just like any center of white robes, they say, don't eat. For just like in surgery, it says don't eat. It says, but hold on, it won't be a fun day. It won't be a fun day. So then I want you to fast, because I'm going to intervene inside. What happens when we have a small cleansing, a hepatic cleansing? Do I tell you to eat with everything? No, don't eat, because we're going to cast out stones. We're going to casting out of curses. The least thing we should do is to eat. It could be like a symbol that he does not need for you to eat, but it's only so that we understand that the creating doctor will have surgery on us, not we to ourselves, or a day of asking to be forgiven. No, it is a day in which the doctor, the creator, has to come and remove the cancer he placed upon us. So then he says, prepared. Get prepared, because one of these days it'll be the extirpation, the atonement of wickedness. That is what Yom Kippur means. Who teaches this? Absolutely no one. Who's going to teach this? No one. The Watchtower? Just like I tell them to fuck off, and I tell them to fuck off, and they send it to me in my mail. It says, what is God's kingdom? It says, what is the kingdom of God? They don't have the idea of what the kingdom of God is. And also Pastor Bohr this week sent me his new propaganda book here. What is here? Right there in the covering. I don't think he'll want to sign it. What do you see in the covering here? What do you see? What do you see there? Do you see it in the video? What do you see? Do you see a Jesus with a white robe? Some Jesus with the white robe. And very evil. He looks like an evil. That's Satan. And they're playing chess. And they're playing chess. So then Jesus, whose turn is the devil's turn? Look, check here. Well, the devil has to move. So then, and he's destroying everything. This is what the Christians believe in. Do you see how different the eternal truth is? Do you see how different the eternal truth is with this stupidity? This is a complete idiocy. And on the other side, we have the third part of the Trinity, the Holy Spirit, the dove. He says, be ye holy, for I am holy, he says. Be ye holy as I am holy. And who says that? The Holy Spirit. Secrets and seal. Unsealed secrets, or revealed, however you want to call it. This is, who speaks? Pastor Stephen Bohr. Wow. You know that yesterday, the vice president of the Adventist conference died. The second in command died. 58 years old. Young. I believe it was his age, but I can't remember. But that's what I read. All of a sudden, what happened? A panic attack, you already know. A panic attack. All of a sudden, in his bed, he couldn't get up again. Why? Because they said, since Jesus is love, and he uses those arrows are love too, and Jesus saved, and these arrows save, then I find it very well for him to get a panic attack, and that's where he was left. That's where he stayed. So then, well, for example, all those who made an effort, really, I believe that the covering of the rings is a finished stage. I think so. I think I have given all the ones that they asked me. One of you asked me that made me laugh really. You said, if I had not been able to get the ring, I value the ring so much that I would not have had any problem to really sell my body for getting the ring. You might say, what? One of the best answers I've had of how much you really want to have the ring. Exactly. How much do you want to have the ring? Exactly. Because that demonstrates that that is something which cannot be lived unless you understand what it means. So then you would do anything, but actually that has to be in everybody's mind. I just put it as an example, made me laugh. Of the whole world, it should be there, actually. We could laugh, it made me laugh, but it has a meaning. How much value does the ring have for you? How much do you love the eternal truth? What is your love? To tell the truth, I find it that it's already a finished stage, because before Wednesday, all that have asked for it, the whole world have asked me, and I've already sent out at least 15 or 20 that I haven't even let you know because there has been no time. Leslie and I, we've been working, hours to long hours in the night, making all the things that we have to do to be able to send them. And I still need to let some people know that they just went out yesterday, like 15 or 20 envelopes. I have to let them know that they're already on their way. But all that have asked me, they have gone out this week. And good thing you didn't have to sell your body for them. But if you had to do it, I would say there's no problem. So what is this guy teaching? Well, that is what I teach. You don't like it? Let's go ahead and see if you really like this, or if some are left. Let's see how many are watching. Oh, no, of course. You know what you've got to do. You know what you've got to do. Right, of course. Those that are in debt are you, not me. Okay. 230 likes. It's even less every time, and that's fine until we get the correct number, and that's it. I find that to be well. Those that get upset have to leave, because that is precisely what the subject is, so that they get upset and they leave. Because they don't belong here, of course not. If this will bother you, something else will bother you, and you haven't understood anything. Very well. Those are the ones that are here, and they will be the ones that are here. Very well. So then, how will we celebrate this Yom Kippur as a day of surgery, waiting for the doctor to wait to extirpate something from us? That's it, nothing else. It is boring, like it's being in the waiting room, cold, and fasting. That's what it means, nothing else. For the Creator to come and to remove his wickedness. If it'll be on that day or later, doesn't matter, but this is the symbol. I want you to understand. If we understand it, Yahweh says, well, you understood it. They've understood it. They've been understanding. That's why I told them to have two, why they were equal, why one would die and the other would live, why one would give life, but the other takes all the wickedness, and exactly, it's all that symbolism that I've just taught you. Very well. Shemah Israel, YHWH Eloheinu, YHWH Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, Our Elohim, Yahweh, is one alone. One alone. There is no Satan. There is no Satan. There is no Son of divine God in heaven. There is no Holy Spirit as the second or third person. It doesn't exist. The only Holy Spirit that there is the one that is speaking to you, because precisely he has a spirit to speak. That is what it is, nothing else. Then the Spirit of Yahweh can guide you, of course, in his spirit. It's his spirit. But no third person exists. No, absolutely not. That is what the text indicates very well. Malachi 2:17, ye have wearied Yahweh with your words. And ye say, what? Have we wearied him? In that ye say, whomever that doth evil pleaseth Yahweh, and in such he delighted. And or else, where is the Elohim of justice? That is why we've got King Kong here. King Kong, it's been some time that he hasn't been here. And he's wearing the Boca Juniors badge. Why did I touch him? He's got the Boca Juniors badge here. He is very desirous. I want to put him straight. Pardon me. Just let me try it here. He's very excited, King Kong is, and also me, because we are 2 weeks away. So that, and listen well to my words. Pay attention. Open your ears, because I'm going to say something that for some people will be barbarous. We're 2 weeks away for the boca of Yahweh to speak, the mouth of Yahweh, in an audible form and visual for those that have ears to hear. Not for everyone. The athletic club, Boca Juniors, is a stone. We as a people, it's the same thing if they win or not. If they lose everything, that's fine. Now, when a connotation that is symbolic has different dimension. For example, Revelation 17 takes off with, then came one of the 7 angels that had the 7 cups and spoke with me, saying, John sees an angel come. He had already seen them already. Angels that have 7 cups in their hands. I'm going to tell you something. Those 7 angels do not exist. I'll say it again in case you didn't grasp it the first time. God does not have 7 little angels, real angels, and that those little angels, he gives them a cup in their hand, and they are like idiots with a cup in their hand like this, so that John sees them and says, oh, those are the angels of God. When God gives them the command, they're going to come, and they're going to pour their little cups. And there's another 7 angels with 7 trumpets, and they play their trumpets. That does not exist. I want you to understand that well. Let's see if you understand it. That does not exist. No such thing exists, like 7 angels with 7 cups in their hands. No. John can see it. You can see it in pictures. It's all fine. But it's a symbol. Yahweh represented it this way to John so that he would write it and it would get to Jesus Christ. This message, that is. So then Jesus Christ, which is the one that receives the message, says, now I understand exactly it's symbols. It's all symbols. What John sees as symbols. Okay. The 7 angels are as symbolic as the athletic club, Boca Juniors, which does not exist as a means of salvation at all, but does exist as a means of speaking to us, to speak to us. And in 2 weeks, the mouth of Yahweh will speak only to those that have ears to hear and be paying attention to what they're watching, since it's never happened up until now, because now I am announcing it, and I've been announcing it since 2 weeks already, and we're 2 weeks away, and Yahweh found the precise moment in a time in which we declare to be Jubilee, in a year that gives 7, if we add it, 2 plus 0 plus 3, 7. In a year, and wait for it to be the 7th month, 7. Not just that, wait till it is the 7th feast, Sukkot. Not just that, wait till it is the 7th day of the 7th feast. And not just that, Wait till the day is the 7th of the regular week. And not just that, he decided to speak in the time that the eternal truth has always spoken. Boca, the mouth of Yahweh, will speak on Saturday in my replacement in our time, habitual time. That's incredible because I speak from here from 11 till 3 p.m., depending, sometimes 4 p.m. He will speak, and he's already telling us 1 o'clock, at 1 o'clock here. It is not the habitual time of that the eternal truth speak. If this does not call your attention, then nothing calls your attention, you sons of bitches. It's not that he's going to speak when you want. I know that many of you, maybe most of you, will not be paying attention, because if you weren't paying attention when we greeted and you weren't paying attention there, maybe you see this sermon later because you have something more important to do today. But the mouth of Yahweh will speak on the 7th day of the 7th month of the 7th feast of the 7th day weekday at the hour in which the eternal truth speaks. He says, now it's my turn to speak. Wow. If that does not give you chills, Yahweh will speak through his mouth, his boca, and I hope that every member of the eternal truth is paying attention, watching to see what Yahweh is about to say. In fact, all of the eternal truth has to be paying attention to see what Yahweh says. If you cannot watch the game due to all the pirate websites, footballlibre.com or any other free website out there, look for the sext sport, and they'll show you all of them. You don't see them, they just tell you what they are, and you can hear them. You can hear the voice of what Yahweh will say. Yahweh will speak unto the world. The world cannot hear him, but his children can hear him. They will say, what does he have to say? Complete the 7th cup or not? If the mouth of Yahweh says it is not going to be completed, we would have to still wait here, and that will not make any objection. Just like that, no objections. We have to stay here waiting because the 7th one is not completed. The 7 symbolic angels do not receive the 7 cups, so then there would be no final until the cup is completed. It is my understanding, due to everything that takes place, due to the most specific date, due to everything that is given, that Yahweh will say, the 7th cup is completed. Who will understand this? Only us. No one else in the world can understand this. When Yahweh speaks, no one understands. They hear thunders. They're going to hear Boca champion. They won the 7th one. They're not going to understand why. They're going to be celebrating. Not due to the celebration that we have to do. Because if Yahweh speaks in 2 weeks, in the time that interrupts me, he says, don't speak now, I will speak. Notice how he's just going to leave me some time. He's just going to leave me a little bit of time to give the introduction to him, and then I'm going to say, okay, now it's time for the Boca of Yahweh to speak. I'll shut everything down, and we'll all watch the Boca of Yahweh. If this is not exciting, like everything, there should be. I know you don't deserve it. I'm just saying, this message is so that millions of people should be watching with their mouths open, but it's not for them.
Yeah, yesterday I saw a picture and I remembered how in La Boca there's El Caminito, the little path. So then it's the path, the truth, and life.
The caminito, which is the central part, which directs you into the boca, the heart of the boca. The caminito, the little path. What is it? Why is it the little path? It could be called just due to the symbol that is the path of life and the truth, and it's also it's not wide. Very few find it. It's a very small path. It is not wide. It is the very opposite of wide. Many have had to go through this hard path. So then what more exciting thing could there be other than me showing you that Yahweh will speak to us? It's mind-blowing. If you don't understand my words, then you're a complete idiot, and I am teaching whatever stupidity that I wanted to say. Now, those that comprehend this whole meaning, Well, one will say it's not by chance for them to be 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Forget number 7 and the seventh cup. But I'm talking about the time that I speak in. It's completely crazy. And it'll be the Boca against the flu. If the flu wins, then hold on, okay? If the flu wins, for me, this is completely prophetic. I'll take out the I don't care who plays. I don't care about the players. I don't care who plays well or not. I'm talking about what God will speak. God will speak just like that. Elohim, like never has He spoken in your life aside from what I say unto you. Will speak. Taking my mouth out, it'll be out of His mouth, His boca. He'll speak to us. He's going to say what He wants to tell us. If the flu wins, then hold on, because you're going to have a time that's coming. If the seventh one is won, it means that this is maximum 1 year left until we see the whole unfolding of all this. That's why it makes me so happy. I would want that Shabbat to be already now. I desire it'll be so slow. In the end of it all, it'll be fast because we work so much. But we're 14 days away. It's impressive. Why do I highlight this so much? Because Yahweh will speak to us. Yahweh will speak to us. All of the eternal truth has to watch that. There's nothing, I don't even have to tell you. There is absolutely nothing else that's more important than to listen to the mouth of Yahweh. Just like that. Clearly so. Very well. The picture in the invitation, it is the fire that's been here a couple weeks ago and still highlighted, but it's practically the same way where Brian was making the shofar sound, where Leslie took the picture of. So you see it was lit in fire. In fact, where Brian was making the shofar sound, he didn't know we were taking pictures. It's all natural. He was standing there on those rocks, and if you see, it is dark below. It's kind of like Yahweh marked in Mount Sinai. He marked a special place where the shofar would sound. Those are the ones that surround our house. And this picture is spectacular with those flames that I find so spectacular. Very well. And the text in the invitation, it's a text that is absolutely fabulous. Incredible. Jeremiah 51:53. The textual Bible reads as follows. Although Babylon will go up into the heavens, what does it mean to go up into the heavens? Into the power, correct. The entire power. There's power in heaven. But Babylon cannot go physically into heaven. You see how every time it speaks about heaven, it's not the heaven where Yahweh lives. Babylon does not go up to where Yahweh lives. It means power. Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, gain complete power, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet from me, saith Yahweh, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her. It says, no matter how strong she is now, she's extremely strong. Who can against the beast? Who? No one. We say, who can go fight against the beast? They can cause murders. They can go through strips and bomb everyone, bomb hospitals. They blame. They can do anything. And who can say anything? No one. Nothing. No one. No one can say anything. But it says that no matter how strong she may be, no matter how powerful or careful and fortified she might be in power, she will come, a group from Yahweh shall come and will destroy her completely, will spoil her completely. That text is something that is rather impressive. And we go into full on into what I want to teach today. I was going to read to you Revelation 17 like always, but since it's been an hour 15 speaking already, I'm gonna go ahead and detain too many in the explanations because I can't with myself because I can't help myself because I love the prophecy so much. I'll stop because I'll stop. I will never end. I'll teach what I want to teach today. What does the sixth trumpet have anything to do with Jeremiah 51? Revelation 9:13 through 21 says, and the sixth angel sounded the trumpet, which is a symbolism. Don't think that it's an actual angel sounding a trumpet. And I heard a voice from within the four horns of the altar before God, that's also symbolism, saying unto the sixth angel that had the trumpet, let loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. What was the river Euphrates? I've explained this already. It was the river that would give life unto Babylon. So then, it was the river of life for Babylon. But that river that gives life unto Babylon has a curse. There is a curse in that river. Babylon does not know this because there was witchcraft. There is witchcraft. There, I'm going to speak about everything that the prophecy says. There is witchcraft in that book. In that witchcraft, precisely, it explains it to you here. There are four angels bound. This has a lot of connotations. But when the sixth trumpet sounds, it says, what happens? And the four angels were let loose, which were prepared. They clearly understood what they had to do. It's not by surprise that they are thrown into it. They were prepared for the hour, day, month, and year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the armies of horsemen, there's an army that gets together, and the number of the horsemen, it was 200,000, which has a connotation with the two witnesses. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in vision, and them that sat thereon, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. For the power of it was in their tails, in their mouths, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. John doesn't even know what he's watching. He's trying to explain something, and what he sees are weapons, of course. But he, since he had not seen any of that, he thought that they were horses. He thought that the horses, and aside from that, it's what Yahweh showed him for him to say that. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils. Who are the devils? The devils exist? No. The devils, biblically speaking, are deceits. Deceits, demons, lies. And the images of gold, which humans worship, lies, of course. And the images of gold, anything that's not real. Of silver, brass, stone, wood, which neither can see, nor hear, nor walk. Neither repenteth they of their murders, nor of their sorceries. It says sorceries, but it says pharmakeia in the original language. Nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. But of course, it doesn't talk about sexual fornication, but of course, it talks about their spiritual fornication due to worshiping lies. That is obvious. So then, in the sixth trumpet are let loose the four angels. But who bound them there? Or who? Where does this prophecy come from? Well, this prophecy comes from Jeremiah 51. In Jeremiah 51, which of course is this prophecy of Revelation is based upon, and also Revelation 18, which is the fall of Babylon. In Jeremiah 51, Yahweh makes Jeremiah say and makes him do witchcraft, because he is the major witch. He's the best one. He makes him do witchcraft. Let's read it. Jeremiah 51, 1 through 64. I'll read it. You can read in whatever version, but I'll read in the book of the people of God. Why? I don't know. I found it to be okay. In the book of the people of God, Jeremiah 51. Let's see what it has anything to do with the four angels bound there. Thus saith the Lord. It doesn't say Lord, it says Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will rise, and will call up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise upon against them a destroying wind. I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. Yes, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Speaking about the fall of Babylon, something which has yet to happen. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men. Destroy ye utterly all her host. These are the commands. These are the commands that Yahweh gives unto his army, which will destroy Babylon. It says that the archer to bend his bow and get prepared for a fight, and to put on what will protect him, his brigandine. And it says, spare not her young men, and destroy ye utterly all her host. Wow. Harsh instructions. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his holy of hosts. They are not forsaken, the Lord of hosts. Any other person would say it's talking about Babylon of that time. The empire, yes, it's talking about that. But actually it's talking about the end also. But don't you see that Israel, God will protect them? Well, no. What Israel are you referring to? Here we have an Israel here. Look, Jacob. That's why I left him here. Look, Jacob. J-A-C-B. Jacob. And the mouth of Jacob will speak in 2 weeks. If you miss it, wow. Live and direct, you have to hear it. And then afterwards, I don't even know how we're going to react. Because we could be a little sad saying, yes, I'll blame you. I'm going to blame entirely the blame upon you. Yahweh says, no, let the flu win. It is your fault. Because I was ready. You hold me back. Because all the stupidity you do. You hold me back. And Yahweh says, no, with that people you have, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And I said, oh no, what do you want me to do? I have to punish them more with... No, you got to wash them, purify them. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to greet. They expect for you to greet them and not them to you. They have shit in their head. They don't know the laws of order. They don't know the laws of power. They don't know anything. I would hurt them if I were to go this way. They don't even know how to say hi, Christian. I expect for them to be taught by you, but they're so hard-headed, so proud. I don't know what the fuck they have in their heads. I don't know. Some will say that they didn't notice that they were in a bad mood. I don't know what the fuck they'll say. Just stupid shit they'll say. But, Christian, don't you see that they should all have greeted you? Yes, I know. What, what do you want me to do? They're asses. They're jackasses. Complete jackasses. I don't know what to do. Then let the flu win. Then if Boca loses, it is your fault. Because I'm ready to be a champion just like that. I'm ready to be a champion. Completely ready to be a champion. And if we're a champion, then, well, we're ready. Wait for this people to... I'm just soft like this. Just the way you see me. Like the message with Leslie, soft messages. And I don't make you confess, okay? Because I would like... I'm not going to make you confess, but I could say... I want you to put on chat who did it bother Leslie's message. Did it bother you? Because a lot might say, yes, it did bother me. I'm not going to make you do it because I'll embarrass you, because I think it did bother many. Because many people, very few commented Leslie's message. Wow, you're so soft. Who wants to have friends like you? Leslie said. What sons of bitches are they? That is true, exactly. Because they are humans and they don't know how to act. They get upset at you. They get upset at you. Maybe in their stupid mind they say no. I'm sure that Christian didn't like that either. Oh, if Boca loses, Yahweh says, let the flu wins, then it is your fault. You already know. You already know. Absolutely, you already know. So then moving on. It says, for your country is filled with crimes against the Holy of Israel. For Israel had not been forsaken, is the true Israel, the LVEite. That one has not been forsaken, none whatsoever. And that one expects to be the bride of Yahweh. But of course, that one, exactly that one. Our husband has not died. It would seem like he had died and will speak. Our husband Yahweh will speak in 2 weeks. At least he'll give me rest. I speak a little bit, and I'll let him speak. And you better listen to me, sons of bitches. However, pirated websites, it'll be free on YouTube. It's free. Look for whatever means to watch it or listen to it. At least the audio on YouTube. In the sports section, Yahweh will speak during Sukkot. When did we think that Yahweh would speak to us during Sukkot? It's incredible. Yahweh will speak to us. Good thing he will speak unto us. Speak unto us. Wow, absolutely mind blowing. I mean, I can't wait for Sukkot to be here. We're about to get to Yom Kippur. I can't wait for Sukkot to get here. Revelation 18, it is taken literally, and I'll read it. 6. Flee from the midst of Babylon. Come out of her, my people, but of course, and flee from the means of Babylon, and be saved, all who can. Do not perish because of her fault, because this is for the Lord, for Yahweh, the time of vengeance. He will reward. Of course, he has his army, but the 7 cups have to be fulfilled. If there's no 7 cups, the time has not arrived. We'll continue on with the flu. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. This text is not taken from Revelation. Revelation is taken from this. Inspired in this, Yahweh quotes this. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup. Wow. In the Lord's hand. What was Babylon? A golden cup in the Lord's hand. Who handles Babylon? Yahweh. Christian, you son of a bitch. That you put 10, 12 thumbs down. You. I'm sure you've already given us a thumbs down. Doesn't matter. Listen to what he says, you son of a bitch. It says that Babylon is managed by Yahweh. It says Babylon was a golden cup in the hand of Yahweh. But that cup would give either life, no, to make all the earth drunken. What? Babylon, not Satan. No, you son of a bitch. Satan does not exist. Well, Satan does exist. I say it like stupid. Yeah, Satan does exist. Of course he exists, but not what you think. Satan exists because it is Yahweh. It is Yahweh of hosts. He is Satan. He is Satan. He is Satan of hosts. He is. Because it's Yahweh of hosts or Satan of hosts. It's exactly the same thing. And to David, he tells him, and Satan came and he tempted David so that he would make a census of Israel. And in the other chapter, which is the mirror, it says, and Yahweh came and he tempted David. Who tempted him? Satan or Jehovah? Let's go ahead and read it because it's fun, just to have fun. Where the fuck is it? One is in, let's see if you can quote it for me, or else I have to look for it. One is found in Kings. One is found in Kings. Let's go ahead and look for Kings. Kings. Where is it? This is for the Christians. This is for the Christians. Let's look for it in Kings. Let's see if you write it there for me, please. I'm sure that it's First Kings. It's not in First Kings. Nobody has added to us where it is. Quickly, I hope you are quick for this. Okay, 2 Samuel 24:1. It was not in Kings. Second book of Samuel. Let's go to Samuel first for that. Okay, first book of Chronicles 21. First book of Chronicles 21. And then 2 Samuel. Did they say 2 Samuel? 24. Okay. Okay, 2 Samuel 24. Very well. In 2 Samuel, the second book of Samuel 24. What does it say? That's the way it is. Let's first read First Chronicles 21st, but Satan, it says. Here it says Satanas in Spanish, but it's Satan in Hebrew, Shatan. But Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. Wow. Satan, what an evil entity. David wasn't even going to number Israel, but Satan came and he provoked him. Your Bible says that Christian says that Satan stood up against Israel. Satan provoked. What a son of a bitch, this Satan. But if we go to the other book, in 2 Samuel 24, the same story says, and again the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, go number Israel and Judah. Wait a minute. The same story. One side it says Satan provoked him, and here it says Yahweh provoked him. How could there be a contradiction? There's no contradiction. Jehovah is Satan. In that play of words, he leaves it there for anyone that would like to see, or else you're explaining this, saying, no, Yahweh allowed for Satan to do. What the fuck is that? Yahweh allowed for Satan, another son of a bitch? What a stupid shit is that? Jehovah is Satan. Satan is Jehovah. That's what Jehovah in Satan is. This is the very same person. There is no other person. So then, what was I speaking about? That Babylon was a cup of gold in the hand of Yahweh, not of Satan, but of Yahweh. What for? To make drunken all the earth. So then who makes all the earth drunken? Yahweh, of course. Yahweh makes all the earth drunken. And the nations drank the wine. That's why they became crazy. Why are the people crazy? Because they drank from the cup of wine, which is the cup of Yahweh, and he handles Babylon. So he makes them to drink. And they've drunk, yes, of course. This is the cup of wine, 19. That's what it was called. So they've drunken. What happens when they drink? That's why we're here now. The seventh one has to be real, damn it. In 2 weeks, Yahweh will speak to us and will tell us the seventh one is completed because the mouth of Yahweh has spoken. And he spoke in the most famous stadium per se in the world, in the mystical Maracanã. That is where he will speak, so that Brazil, amongst other Babylons of Babylon, hear the boca of Yahweh, so that Brazil can hear how the sons of the boca yell, and for them to be scared, and they kneel down and say, the mouth of God has spoken. That is what they say. Every Brazilian has to say, the mouth of God has spoken, and we hear. But of course, but he will speak unto us, and he will tell it to us. You know what he's going to say? The cup has been completed, the seventh one. It's it. It's over. Now the end is coming. But I'm reading it to you here. It says, Babylon was a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. I mean, it's more than clear. With this text, I mean, we could wrap this up. It's crazy. The world is mad. It's all insane because Babylon has made the whole world insane. But who handles it? Yahweh. Satan. It says all of a sudden, after taking the wine and drinking it, suddenly, like a suddenness, like the vice president of the Adventist Confederacy happened to him, suddenly Babylon fell and was destroyed. It's not that she was so high, she will fall. Suddenly. It's like in Revelation 18, once an angel grabbed a rock and he cast it into the sea, and he says, thus, suddenly, quickly, well, Babylon falls. Same thing. And suddenly Babylon fell and was destroyed. Howl for her, you sons of bitches. That'll be there, but it was in the mind. Jeremiah didn't want to write it. I'm going to say Benzema. Benzema, is that how you say it? Where's the rabbi? Here. Benzoma? Benzona. How am I going to say Benzona? Put Benzona. No, I can't write Benzona. They're not going to write it again. Maybe he did, but then the wise Jewish took that out. All of a sudden, said Babylon fell and was destroyed. Howl for her, Benzona. Benzona, you said. Where's the rabbi? Is he taking care of the baby? He is feeding the baby. Howl for her, Benzona, sons of bitches. Take balm for her pain. If so, be she be healed. It's a joke. Yahweh likes to joke. I love it. Complete irony. See if she gets cured. Of course, it's impossible to cure her. But let's see if she gets cured. To top it off, he quotes some idiot that say, we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. But of course, we did everything possible to heal her. We wanted to cure Babylon, but she was not healed. What did it say, sons of bitches? Benzona. Benzona. Hear well, Benzona. We would that she be healed, but she was not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The judgment comes to the very power of hers. Yahweh hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our Elohim. That is what the true ones will say. The true conquerors. How so? May break the arrows. Gather the shields. Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Oh, who is the kings of the Medes? Who's the king of the Medes was one such Darius. And he, Darius, right? Or Cyrus. Is it Cyrus? Cyrus. Darius was the other guy. Cyrus. And Cyrus said that it was his Messiah. So then Cyrus, he said, Cyrus is my Messiah. So then he awakens a messianic spirit of a Messiah against the one that will destroy Babylon. It is more than clear. The Messiah comes. The Messiah destroyed Babylon. But pay attention. Whom does he send to get ready the arrows? Tells Babylon, get ready the Babylon and get shields. Do whatever you can. But here comes your destruction. Prepare yourselves. Defend yourselves. Yahweh awakened the spirit of the kings of the Medes. What is the spirit of the kings of the Medes? It is the spirit of the Mashiach. And where did the spirit of the Mashiach wake up precisely in this time? And he make him wake up and understand who the Mashiach was. So then he prepared him, because he knows what's coming. And he's waiting for Yahweh to speak through his mouth. Yahweh woke up the spirit of the Mashiach. That is what it says. I'll translate it to you in symbols. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it. And for Babylon to Yahweh, in order for Yahweh to destroy her, he has to bring his Messiah, his Mashiach. So then, and precisely, it speaks about Cyrus. Cyrus is my Mashiach. What is the spirit of Cyrus? It is the spirit of the Mashiach. I mean, it's more than spectacular. Yahweh woke up the spirit of the Mashiach because he had thought of destroying her. Yes, this is the vengeance of our Elohim, the vengeance of his temple. The temple of Jerusalem, oh no. The temple is his body, his sons, this body, which is the body of his bride, it is of his anointed. And aside from that, the body of all humanity, which has been abused, poisoned, killed, assassinated by Babylon. Rise up a standard against Babylon. Make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for Yahweh hath both devised and done that which he spoke against the inhabitants of Babylon. He finally decided. But I'm still not sure. That is why he has called upon us all for November 4th, on the Shabbat in which the eternal truth speaks during that time. He will speak and he will tell us whether or not it's been decided or not yet. He will tell us. Every one of us. Live and direct. You, which dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasure. Who's that? Babylon. He talks to her like thou. It's all symbols. Thou, Babylon, that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness marvelous. Yahweh of hosts, in other words, Yahweh Sabaoth, what's it say, had sworn by himself, because he swears for himself. He can't swear for anyone else above him. Who has power? I'll swear for my dad, or my mom, or my children. No, he risks us. Just swear for you. My black guy. We say negro in Argentina. It doesn't have anything to do with the skin. It's just like dude. So then I don't have anyone to hurt to swear for, but except for myself. Exactly. It is done. And the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Sabaoth, has sworn it for himself, and I shall fill thee with men as of locusts, and they shall intone against you the song of the merchants and of Moses. With his power he made the earth. He had established the world with his wisdom and had stretched out the heaven by his understanding. All this speaks about earth that's absolutely, extremely flat. Flat. Babylon says what? It's a globe. We're spinning. We're traveling in space because it's all the demons and the people drink that and they're drunken, absolutely drunken. And here it talks about one person. How many people? It says with his power. He. How many is he? Yahweh had. Who understands this? Only we. Only one person. Not the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Not that the Father sent the Son. No, he. He. That's the way it is. He. With his power, he had established the world. And by his wisdom, he established the world. And had stretched out the heaven by his understanding. How's the heaven stretched? It's not surrounding in the globe. It's stretched. It's stretched. By he. It's all he. He. Not them. He. When he uttereth his voice, not them, but when he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in heaven. Is there waters in heaven? How's there going to be waters in heaven? The clouds? No. Water is this that covers us. There's something that covers us. It's filled with water. Hard water. No one goes through that. Those are the ones which that tremble, do not break, although I do want this to break. Oh no, absolutely not. Let's put it back up. What did you do, King Kong? There it is. There it is. It says, and when he thundereth and trembleth, the waters tremble in the heavens, and he lets go of the rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasure. He, only he, every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder, the founder is of idols, the founder that does lies, those that do lies, not of a little idol. No, of course not. Go past what it says. The founder of the images, in other words, who? The newscasts, the TV, the government, the news, information, the school. The founder is confounded by the graven image of his lies and his inventions, for his molten image is falsehood. For what he has constructed is all lies. Everything that Babylon constructs is a lie. What your mother said is a lie. For his statue is a lie. And there's in nothing any breath of life. They're all vanity work, and it shall perish when the time come. Exactly all the deceivers, all that have worked for the lies of Babylon will die. Everyone, last one of them, with no exceptions. With no exceptions. Every last one of them, all who were part of the system that Yahweh used, but were deceivers like this son of a bitch, that presents to you a Satan and a Jesus playing chess. Jesus has nothing else to do. To top it off, wow. Every one of them will die. Why? Because the Bible says it, not because I say it, mind you. It says that all those that have given the lies will die. Every last one of them. There's no chance for them. They have to die. Then they'll be purified, don't you worry. But they have to die during this stage. It says that they're going to die and perish when they have. It is time for their visitation. They will be visited due to their actions. That is what it is to make Babylon and leave her naked. 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them of Boca Juniors. I mean Jacob. It's backwards. I read Boca Juniors. And yes, Jacob. It is not like them, the part of Boca Juniors. For he, has the former of all things. Boca Juniors is not like him. It's like the rest of the liars. He is the liar. It is Babylon. Israel is the rod of his inheritance. But the true Israel, rather, his name is Yahweh, Sebaot, exactly. People are one God, nothing else, nothing else. Thou were unto me a hammer, an axe, a weapon, speaks to Babylon. Thou art my battle axe, and weapons of war, an axe or a hammer unto the whole world. Weapons of war. For with thee, oh Yahweh was there, will I break in pieces the nations, says Yahweh. In Babylon, we would hammer the whole world. He says it. Clearly so. Says, no, it's the devil. The devil is attacking. No. Hold on, stop. It says, with thee, Yahweh, with whom? With Babylon. It says, we're together. It says, you and I, Babylon, we hammered nations into pieces. You and I, Babylon, we destroyed kingdoms. With thee, you and I, Babylon, with thee, I destroyed kingdoms. And with thee, Babylon, will I break in pieces the horses and his rider. And with thee, Babylon, will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also, Babylon, will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee, Babylon, together, Yahweh and Babylon, will I break in pieces old and young. How terrible is this? And it's true. And everything that Babylon has hammered, Yahweh hammered it with him. I'm not saying it, it's right here. Along with him hammering. It's not that I opposed to, I was looking from afar. What is Babylon doing? I was with thee, he says. This is the associate of Babylon, but of course, an active associate because he owns it. He handles her. He says, I'm the CEO of Babylon, the chief executive officer of Babylon, the boss of all bosses of Babylon. And with thee, Babylon, I break in pieces young men and the maid, old and young, man and maid. I will also break in pieces with thee, Babylon, the shepherds and his flock. And with thee, Babylon, will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee, Babylon, will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight. Yes, with thee I was doing all, but now you're going to pay for everything. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And the evil they did unto Zion. The one over there? No. Zion is true people. The one that hears, the one that be paying attention when the boca of Yahweh speaketh. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. Exactly that mountain that we have seen that was cast like a mountain into the sea. That mountain, it's all symbols of Babylon, of power. I am against thee, saith Yahweh, Babylon, you mountain of destruction, which destroyest. An oracle, it means word, prophetic word. Let's say oracle. Oracle of Yahweh. It is oracle of Yahweh, as saith Yahweh. It is the word of Yahweh. Oracle of Yahweh, which destroyest all the earth. Wow. Who destroyed all the earth? Babylon. And who was with her? He. And I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, from the heights, and will make thee a burnt mountain. Either dog shit, a mountain of dog shit, a mountain, a heap of shit. But it says burnt because they're lit up. It could well be the fire with ice, as Leslie states, where how the mountain falls and it's all fire, hail. And it says, and they shall not take of thee, and they shall not take of thee, and they shall not take of thee, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner. In other words, all your leaders and foundations, no will take anything from there. They will not use anything of that. They will not take anything of that. They shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, for a new government, nor a stone for foundations, to start something new. But thou shalt be desolate forever. Oracle of Yahweh, saith Yahweh. Set ye up a standard in the land. Blow the trumpet among the nations. Prepare the nations against her unto the holy war. And it's starting already with them. There's another holy war. This one's even more holy. This is the most holy war. Why? Because some people are coming to destroy Babylon. How? I don't know. It's impossible. The people are saying, how can they fight against the beast? But it's possible. The same one that gave power to them is the one that will take the power away from them. When I talk about Babylon, I thought about explaining this a little bit up ahead. When I speak about Babylon, I'm not referring to only the Middle East, mind you. For me, Babylon, established, is the Babylon that has the army. And that is the US of A. The US of A is the Israel of today. Of course, the other one is a representation. That's fine over there. But the one that has the real power, the one that generates the wars, the one that decides things, is the one that's over here, which is Israel. The one that is here in the US. That is Babylon. It is the heart thereof of Jerusalem. Jerusalem. It is the heart of Jerusalem. So then, when we speak about destruction, don't imagine only over there, but imagine the heart of Jerusalem destroyed. And Jerusalem is composed of more countries that you already know of. It is the destruction of Babylon. Call the nations for the war, the holy war, and the kingdoms against her. Ararat, Mini, Ashkenaz, and design officials for the recruiting, and make the horses walk like locusts, all symbols. And nations against her. The king of the Medes, this is the Messiah. The Messiah, other nations will join unto her, other peoples. He has a host. It says, and let all these nations of the Medes against her, and the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion, and the land shall tremble in sorrow. And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon. The plan of Yahweh of reducing his country unto a devastation without an inhabitant. How will Babylon be left? A devastation without inhabitants. To what point is the destruction? Well, he'll have no inhabitants. He'll have no inhabitants. No inhabitant. Not just is the government of Babylon destroyed, but the inhabitants of Babylon also. That's why it says, exit Babylon, my people, because otherwise you'll be just like her. I'll read that again because I love that. And the earth trembles in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. And the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. The best warriors of the world feared. Impossible to defeat them, for they stopped fighting, and they fled from the forts. They have no more strength, and they have become as women. Well, that has already been fulfilled since some time. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end, and that the passage are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. What is a threshing floor? A wheat field. It's all nice, but you have to cut it and then tread upon it to get the seeds, of course. Yet the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. Yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. The time of the harvest is coming, depending on what Yahweh says. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me, the representing king of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me, he hath crushed me. He hath made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. Okay, notice this expression is good. I've explained this many times, but it's good. It's talking about those that were swallowed up by Babylon. So somebody is complaining. They have devoured me. Nebuchadnezzar has devoured me, king of Babylon. In other words, I was devoured by Babylon, by the power of Babylon. That is what the people are saying. He consumed me. He ate me. He has left me like an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. What does that mean? I've explained this before. It's very clear. The Bible is clear. It's just that the people don't understand it. I can assure you that you can ask all the pastors that you know and ask them what this text says. It's clear. The one that is complaining is saying, the king of Babylon ate me and took me into his belly. I was digested by him, and now he shit me out, and I'm dog shit. That's what it is. That's what he's saying. I'll read it again. He has devoured me, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He hath made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. That's it. It's very clear. The violence done unto me and to my flesh be upon Babylon. Those are the people that are complaining that have been killed by Babylon, that have been consumed entirely. And Babylon is his main weapon is the pharmakeia, but of course you enter there and you end up being shit out entirely. Absolutely consumes you, digests you, they suck everything from you, even the last penny you have, and then they shit you out. The violence done to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will plead thy cause, and take vengeance for thee, and will dry up her sea, and make her springs dry. All this is talking about money. I've told you anything liquid is money. The seas are the people, also I'll dry up the people, and also the sources where they have all the money, where the people are, because Babylon is that, exactly. It is the monster of the system, the beast system that directs the world, which we know it's from the walking boys of the Red Sea. Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling for dragons, an astonishment and an hissing without an inhabitant. They shall roar together like lions. They shall yell as lions' whelps. In their heat I will make their feasts, and I will make them drunken, and they may rejoice. In sleep, a perpetual sleep, and not wake. Oracle of the Lord, exactly. They shall not awaken. It is not an eternal sleep, but they will not awaken until they are awakened by the Messiah. And when they're awakened by the Messiah, they will receive their reward, the corrective punishment that will correct them. So then, what does Yahweh say? I will prepare a feast that makes them drunken, and they will be killed. Wow. That's what's happening. It's just that we haven't seen this massively. I will bring them down like lambs for the slaughter, like rams with the goats. How is Sheshach taken, and how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How has Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? Someone says, how is Shekah taken, and how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? Same thing as in Revelation 18. It says they saw the smoke. It says, how is she put up in fire and destroyed, the great city? How is everything lost? How is all devastated Babylon among the nations? The sea is come up against Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. That sea has many connotations. It could be peoples, nations, and tongues. It could be a people. It could be many things. But it's saying that the sea came and destroyed Babylon. Not the sea, but its symbols. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, a wilderness, a desert, a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither doth any son of man pass thereby. And I will punish Bel in Babylon. In other words, Bel was one of the kings, or the most important one thereof. I'll punish their gods in Babylon. And will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up. And the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Yeah, the wall of Babylon shall fall, all the protection thereof. And here precisely is what is also written in Revelation 14. And pardon me, 18. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of Yahweh. Who is the people that is to come out of her? We? No. The people, his people, is not us precisely. No. His people are the two witnesses, which already have come out of Babylon. They are against Babylon. So then those that come out, that wake up into the reality of what Babylon is, that is the people that is saved. For the wrath of the fierce anger of Yahweh is executed by the Messiah. Is that saying to the Messiah, come out of her, save, get saved? No. The people of the Messiah. And lest your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. It's talking about how this would start to happen before Babylon would fall completely, which is what's happening. All the rumors, violence, until the end. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded. Why? Because it leaves her naked, and her victims shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon. For the spoilers shall come unto her from the north. What's another symbol? The Messiah comes from the north. Out of the north come her spoilers. Oracle of Yahweh. Word of Yahweh. 49. And as Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, were the victims of Israel, those that are now being assassinated by the never of evers. Look up whatever never ever means in Spanish, and you'll know what we're talking about. Throughout all this time, it's been happening, because it says that in Babylon you will find all the blood of them all. That is the true Israel. Babylon shall fall, the slain of all the earth, as Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall. Yet that have escaped the sword, go away, stand not still. Remember Yahweh afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are confounded because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces, for strangers are come into the sanctuaries of the Lord's house. But of course, wherefore behold, the days come, oracle of the Lord, word of Yahweh, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, and through all her land the wounded shall groan. And here we get to the text of the invitation. The Babylon or Babel shall mount up to heaven, have all the power entirely. And though she should fortify the height of her strength as now, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her. Oracle of Yahweh. He says, even though Babylon is strong in every aspect, the spoilers, her enemies that will destroy her, shall come on my behalf. This is the prophecy of Yahweh. 54. I love that text. Sometimes we don't pay so much attention so as to not delay, because I want to wrap this up. A sound of a cry cometh from Babylon, even though who is like unto the beast, and who can fight against her? He says, there comes a group sent by me that destroys her entirely. So don't you worry. It would seem that they cannot be destroyed, and they will be destroyed entirely. It says, but we haven't read anything. What does it have anything to do with the 4 angels bound in the river Euphrates? What does that have anything to do with all that? With the river Euphrates, 4 angels of the 6th trumpet, which are let loose. What for? What does that have anything to do with this? It has everything to do with it. Everything to do with it. Listen, a sound of cry cometh from Babylon, and great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans, because Yahweh had spoiled Babylon and destroyed out of her great voice. When her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their voices uttered, because the spoiler is come upon her. Now, Babylon does not even expect this, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon Babylon. Who gets against Babylon? A devastator, a spoiler. And her mighty men are taken. Their bows are broken. Their weapons are no good anymore. They are destroyed. 4. Yahweh of Elohim of recompenses shall surely requite. He's the maximum God of vengeance. He shall surely requite. He doesn't come to reward. He sends his Mashiach. His Mashiach destroys everything. 57. These are good texts, but it wasn't that we were going to revise every single text, but just read it to you. What does it have anything to do with Revelation 17? Of course, everything. The fall of Babylon. And what does it have to do with the 4 angels? We're about to see that. 57. And I will drunk her princes. I will make drunk her princes. Who will do that? Who will make him drunk? I, he says. Who is I? Who's speaking here? Yahweh. Yahweh makes drunk all the kings. I, Yahweh, will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains and her rulers and her mighty men. And I would add, within all this, her prophets, her pastors, her churches, her schools, universities, colleges, science. I will make all drunk, absolutely everything, I, Yahweh. And they shall sleep, eternal sleep, until they are awakened. It will never be perpetual and not wake. It doesn't say that they won't wake. No, they won't wake up until they are awakened. But you're contradicting everything. No, I'm explaining to you. When I say I'm going to go sleep a nap, don't wake up. Don't wake me up. Might say never again, and not until I want to wake up. They won't wake me up and say, wow, just like here, they're going to sleep an eternal fire. 1,000 years, 1,000 years, and they won't wake up during those 1,000 years. That is what it says. Oracle of the king. Take it. The oracle of the king. Word of the king whose name is Yahweh Sebaot. That is the king, Yahweh Sebaot. Thus saith Yahweh Sebaot, the Lord of hosts. The broad walls of Babylon, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken. What does it mean? Well, real walls? No. All the protection of Babylon. What is the protection? Everything that protects Babylon. What protects her? From the moment in which you were born, your mom protects Babylon because she taught you that science is true. You go to school, they taught you the science of Babylon. The teacher taught you to protect Babylon. The whole system is a protection. You can't go against it because you're not protected. Those are the walls that defend Babylon. All that will fall. And it says that the walls of protection, the extends, broad walls, everything that I just mentioned from your mother and on, will be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. You can't really understand what it says here. It says, thus the peoples will grow fatigued in vain, and the nations are only there for the fire. It says, tell the truth, everything about Babylon, all the effort about everything in Babylon has fucked off to hell. Speaking that way.
About her doors
just
to
speaking
have
that
been
way,
burned
right?
by fire in vain, they would cry for her.
Exactly what I just said. Exactly. All the constructions have worked to that divine button, as it is said in Argentina, like in vain, because it'll all be destroyed. That's what it says. The peoples grow fatigued out of nothing, obviously, and only for the fire are the nations. But everything that has to do with Babylon, mind you, we're not talking about the destruction of this whole world, but the construction of this whole world directly. But anything that has to do with the construct of the government, the form of the government has to be brought down completely. This, wow. And here we're about to end. All this was said by Yahweh. That's why it says at the end of it all, they worked without any sense of it all, in vain, in vain. This is the word which Jeremiah the prophet commended to Sariah, the son of Neriah, the son of Messiah, when he went with Zedekiah, the king of Judah, into Babylon, in the 4th year of his reign. And this Sariah was a quiet prince. I don't care about any of that. Here comes what's important. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil, in other words, this whole programmed evil or programmed destruction or programmed curse, rather. Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon. Everything that I just read. All these words that are written against Babylon. Exactly. So then Jeremiah wrote in a book, not in a book, but in a papyrus, or however they wrote in, whatever paper they wrote in. They wrote all that. He wrote it. Everything which I've just read, he wrote it. Every one of the words against Babylon. And here is the witchcraft that I'm telling you about. Everything that I just wrote to you, Jeremiah had to write it, and he wrote it. Just like when you do you write things, a letter to your parents, to yourself, to whomever. someone that does not exist, but you write him a letter. Well, the same thing. Jeremiah wrote all this. Wrote everything.
And over here in my version, it says that he wrote about all the evil that would come upon her.
Exactly. That version is even better because it says all the disgrace. It says Jeremiah wrote about all the evil that should come upon Babylon. Exactly. That's a lot better than the one that I'm reading here. But that's a better text than all the rest. So then Jeremiah wrote everything, all the evil that Yahweh would do upon Babylon. He had to write it down. But not just that. And Jeremiah said unto Sariah, and when thou comest to Babylon, and shalt see, here is witchcraft 100%, and shalt see and shalt read all these words out loud. Not just write, but you have to get to Babylon and start to read these words unto Babylon. What we just read. Read them unto Babylon, not unto the people, no, unto Babylon. Read them. This will happen, this. You will be destroyed entirely. All your soldiers, nothing will be left. You'll lose everything entirely, and you will not desist ever again, and blah, 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 blah. But with you, I will use to destroy nations and everything I read. Everything I read. But then it'll be your turn, and you will fall, Babylon. And Jeremiah said unto Sariah, when you get into Babylon, read out loud all these words. Then shalt thou say, O Lord, O Yahweh, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, of this page that you just read, thou shalt bind it to a stone. Here's witchcraft. Bind it to a stone. Bound. This prophecy is bound. I want you to understand. It is bound. Just like witchcraft. The witches do this. They bind you. They tie your testicles. I had an employee that said I couldn't have children. I found an employee, his name was Ishmael, he was a painter. When I was married, I couldn't have children. I would try. The doctor said, it's all fine. I don't know why you can't. Studies. So I went to witch. The witch looked at me and she said, oh, somebody tied your testicles. What do you mean? Yeah. You have a lover? Yeah. Well, she tied your testicles. They're tied, they're bound, and you cannot have children until we don't unbind them. You want to unbind them? It'll cost you this. It's all witchcraft. And the mind believes it. That's what happened. So then they unbound his testicles, and his baby was born. And I went to the birthday of the quinceañera of his daughter. That other fucking bitch had tied my testicles. This is witchcraft. Well, Yahweh, before all that, he would bind things. And he bound this curse to a stone and cast it where? He says, and when thou shalt have made an end of reading this book, thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it in the midst of Euphrates. That's where it is. There's something bound. That is what's bound. It explains that it's 4 angels. Not a stone. What are we going to do with a stone? But it is the stone. The stone that then becomes the complete dominion. It is bound in the Euphrates. The Revelation takes that and says there are 4 angels bound. They are 4 angels bound, and when they are unbound, it'll be with the word of Jeremiah. So then it says, and when thou art done reading this book, thou shalt bind it to a stone and cast it in the midst of Euphrates. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her. And they shall be weary. And these are the end of the words of Jeremiah, the son of the chapter. They're enough. It's been written by him. end of Jeremiah. It's over. That is where witchcraft ends. Thousands of years later, it's still bound. Because Babylon is in all splendor, does whatever, but it has a stone bound in Euphrates. For that same reason, Revelation, for the one that understands these things, takes the prophecy and says, the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from within the four horns of the altar of gold before God, saying unto the sixth angel that had the trumpet, let loose the four angels, no longer the rock, but it's all symbols. Let loose the stone which is bound in the great river Euphrates, the stone that Jeremiah cast. All the prophecy of Jeremiah, of Revelation, of Jeremiah 51, it's time for it to be unveiled and for every word of that fall of Babylon to be fulfilled, the final destruction. It all coincides in an astounding manner. So then, when we speak of unbinding the four angels, we have to speak about opening the book of Jeremiah 51. And the book of Jeremiah 51 talks about Babylon making the whole world drunken, which is a plan of Yahweh, but Babylon ends up being destroyed. And then he says, come out of her, my people. And we're living times that are absolutely magnificent, because what I've just read in Jeremiah 51 will be fulfilled to the letter when the seventh cup is completed. But of course, or else, if there's no seventh cup, there is no wholeness of cups, then Babylon is not destroyed. The flu continues to rule. That's the way it is. The flu will continue to rule. So then, all of Jeremiah 51 is a description of, even it mentions the Messiah, the kings of the north, the messianic spirit, a spirit as of locusts that comes to destroy a Babylon that supposedly was unconquerable, that could not be destroyed. Her soldiers will look like women, like little women. Their souls will be destroyed, because the army that cometh doesn't come to heal, it comes to destroy entirely. So then, I wanted to complete this prophecy of Revelation 17 with this. This was the message that I had for you last Shabbat. Well, we talked about something else last Shabbat, and now I gave it to you. There was something else that I wanted to mention to you, but maybe I'll share it with you next Shabbat. For now, I'm super excited, super emotional, and I hope that the days go quickly to see what God tells us. It could be that He can tell us to wait. It could be that He says, it is completed. It is a message for us only, no matter what club. That is worthless, whether they win or not. What the hell do we care? But we are observing. Yahweh will utilize a stone to speak. That is why I am with such emotion how that will be. In my opinion, if I were Yahweh, which I'm not, a good result would be 7-0. Not of the penal code, not because of the laws of the penal penalties. That it's been up until there. But now, they should sink the flu, not to win by little penalties, but to sink them. And that the people to be surprised, and for the people to say, what happened? Just like when Brazil lost with Germany 7-1. There are players from there still in the flu. You've got, what's the name? I like the way he plays. This hairy guy. I forgot his name. Well, you've got that guy. You got him there. Is defender of the flu. What's his name? Name him. I forgot his name. How could I forget his name? Until these guys answer. Yeah, that's why there's a delay. What is his name? Marcelo. 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 You've got Marcelo. The 7-1 there with Germany, which was kind of like a precursor to this. This would be great. I'm saying, I don't know what Yahweh will do. I'm saying 7-0 would be phenomenal for them to grow mute, say, oh, wow, we weren't even waiting for that. Something extraordinary, brutal. It'd be great. What will happen? I don't know. I'll be okay with the penalties. As long as we have the 7-1, it was up to me. With another 7-0, that would be extremely great. But who knows? Yahweh does whatever he wants. If Marcelo fires or Cano, it could just miss. It says, nope, it won't enter. And the ball obeys Yahweh. And this is more than who deserves to win. This is prophecy. So then, when the ball does not go in, it won't go in. And when it enters even though they don't deserve it. And 7-0 would be great. Without any further ado, spectacular message, which is witchcraft, of why there are 4 angels bound, initiates with the prophet Jeremiah. The river Euphrates is not the one that's over there. The heart of Babylon is here. Hold on to what's coming to the US of A, because that is the real Babylon. It is the beast of the earth. And the beast of the earth and the original beast are almost the same thing. Only exists so that the world worship the first beast. Babylon basically is here. Because if the river Euphrates is here, where is Babylon? It is here. So then, here is where it has to fall. Aside from over there, here. Without any further ado, let us wrap up with a word of prayer. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks because we have read words that you have spoken, the words that you have spoken unto the prophet Jeremiah. And you made him do with a ritual, made him do a ritual to tie him to a stone and cast it into the river Euphrates. That whole symbolism comes now in the time for you to fulfill your word, and for that stone to be let loose. All the evil that you promised, that whole army, the Messiah, that is written on that book, which is written, is summed up in everything that you have taught us in the eternal truth. Also, we are waiting to see what you have to tell us from your mouth. Your boca, you will speak to us what you want. But we are with attention to see what you'll say in your precious name, Yahweh Sabaoth. Hallelujah. Semper Fi. Let the laurels be eternal that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory, let us live. Remember the rules that I've taught you, the rules of courtesy. You yourself will demand it later. In the kingdom that you have to rule over, you will teach, you will instruct. But the first one that have to be instructed as kings are we. An applause for the Messiah Argentum and the Bride of Yahweh. I hope that you have a precious 7th month. I hope that you have a precious Yom Kippur. That it's a little boring. A precious Yom Kippur. Think about what I've been telling you. It's a symbol of a surgery that Yahweh has to do to extract the cancer that is there. He has another vision for us, that connection that he has with Pesach. Magnificent. His death, and another is the surgery to take out the curse that he placed upon us. Bear that in mind. Enjoy this Yom Kippur. Celebrate it that way. And we'll meet again, if the Lord allows it, next Shabbat, which there would be 1 week away for Yahweh to speak to us out of his boca. Magnificent. Hallelujah to every one of you.